So, I don't really have an opening story for this, but I have, I guess, a sequence of thoughts that I can talk about, and I hope that it makes sense. So, I do kind of have a story. Here towards the end of the summer, well, I'm not in the summer right now, but you understand what I mean. Towards the end of the summer, I started hanging out with a group of people who I haven't really, been terribly involved with, previously. But I started, hanging out with them pretty often. And it was really interesting because it's, obviously, like, our environment changes so much about who we are without us even realizing it. So it's like within just a few weeks, I noticed myself using words I didn't previously use, that they just became a part of my everyday vocabulary, or talking ways that I wasn't really accustomed to, which was really interesting. But it made me start thinking about why did this happen? And it's because of the environment I was in. So it just had me thinking deeper and deeper about the way our environment shapes us. And basically the analogy I've come to is a tree's roots don't grow because they don't grow where they go because that's where they want to. They grow the way they do because they have to. Because the environment around them is only allowing them to grow in certain ways. And so they do just whatever works. And I don't it just has gotten me thinking a little bit about who I've surrounded myself with. And it's like what they say in the Lorax. The tree falls the way it leans. Your environment determines your outcome in ways. But in a lot of aspects, at least for me personally, these, I guess, in a way, facades that I end up putting on subconsciously because of the people I'm with aren't fulfilling. They make me honestly feel kind of exhausted. I still like these people. They're still nice and they're good, fun, good people. But adopting these, I guess, mannerisms from them has not done anything positive for me. I'm not saying I've become depressed, but I've found myself being less and less fulfilled by myself and by being me, because more and more of me has become someone who I'm not. And it's these people who I've been hanging out with. So it's unfortunate, but I've been thinking about it recently, and I want to stick more to my roots instead of trying to adopt someone else's roots. Because if you cut a tree down, you can't just put another tree on top of that and it won't grow back. They won't just merge together. You can't just adopt someone else's roots, because otherwise every tree would be the exact same because they're all just interchangeable. So I'm currently in an understanding of, I guess, a stage of learning about my roots were placed the way they were for a reason. And I was given the opportunity to grow my roots in certain ways for certain reasons. So it's just something I need to keep in mind. And I need to pay attention to keep myself honest with who I am, and life will feel better. Because I will, I guess, begin to go back to who I am instead of who these people who I've hung out with am. And there's definitely, like, they're good people. There are thousands, or there's millions of people who would be much worse to be. But at the same time, I'm not meant to be like them. I'm meant to be like me. So that's what I'm trying to focus on, is going back into my roots and falling on my roots instead of adopting someone else's. Because I've just not felt fulfilled recently because of it. I'm not depressed. Like, I'm okay. I seem tired right now because I'm pretty tired, but I'm okay. But I just don't feel fulfilled with a facade that isn't mine. So that's my goal for myself for a bit now, is to focus on who I am, discover more about who I am, and be proud of who I am. Because in a way, all of this falling back on roots that aren't mine does probably stem from a level of being ashamed or embarrassed of who I am. And it's like, we all have things to be ashamed of or embarrassed of, and if you don't, you're lying, because we all do. So I just need to find out more about what mine are, and I guess lock in on those. Understand what made me hide from myself. Because it's like, if I'm being myself, part of that is being with God. So if I'm hiding from myself, in a way, I'm hiding from my relationship with God. So I think trying to go back to my own roots will also help drive me back with God. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it makes sense in my mind, and I hope it's connecting with some of you. But yeah, and it's like, I understand, like, two people who are best friends tend to have a lot of very similar, like, they're very similar people, but they are not the same person. They might get along very similarly and seem like the same people, but they're not. They've just, part of who they are, have adapted to each other in ways. And that's okay. That's just part of how it is. So just continuing to focus on me is a really big thing. Because I'm just looking at myself and I look tired. Because it's like having a huge weight on my shoulders. And in all honesty, I'm carrying a whole nother person on my shoulders. Because I'm trying to force them into being one with me, which is not how that works. So I need to understand, like, yes, we're all friends, but that does not mean we need to be the same people, and I do not need to be ashamed of who I am. And I worked on it today, and I honestly, today was a great day, and I think that was probably part of it. It's because I was not scared to just, like, I was focusing on not being scared of being me, of just literally focused on just being me. And part of that's why yesterday was a little weird. I was kind of focused on rolling back on when all this started and what I had to do. And I think I figured it out pretty well now. So now it's just time to focus on it. So anyways, thank you for watching. It's a little bit of a longer video than yesterday, but it's okay. But thank you. I love all of you, and I hope that you can continue to grow and continue to better yourselves. And I wish nothing for the best, but the best for all of you. And yeah, thank you for watching.